Guys, it's your boy M.K.S here, back in another video. Hope everyone's well. I didn't want to do a miserable thumbnail. I tried to do like a happy one, even though the situation is a bit bleak at the moment, because I've just been hearing about or reading some escalating tensions, unfortunately, between China and India at the border. So I think that's really bad and sad news, obviously, and scary news because of the weapons they have and the power they have to cause a lot of damage to each other and the world and all that kind of stuff. And I dream to sort of make a united Asia, which I talk about a lot of time. So I think it's a really sad situation. So I hope that it can be resolved. I mean, I didn't really want to think about this, but I think it's quite a shame, obviously. But also, part of me thinks just to make the peace, I don't really want to do this because I want to support as many Asian nations as possible. But I was thinking, I wonder if people do say, like, if they don't make peace between each other, maybe people could boycott them just to make them more peaceful, you know what I mean? Like, so to say, like, oh, if you're going to go to war with each other, maybe any nation that's at war, people could try and boycott them as much as possible. Say that could be a way to make peace, because it would mean that if you're at war, then people are going to boycott you as much as possible. So hopefully financially, it will mean that it's not financially viable to go to war. And so hopefully countries will be much more against war if they know that if you invade a nation or you go to war, and perhaps to take the blame from both sides, then China and India will have to sit down and negotiate and sort of talk about a peaceful resolution, because otherwise people around the world perhaps could boycott them in the short term, so that they'll say, okay, we better start making peace, and then people can buy from them again. I don't know if that would work. I don't know if that makes sense. So I'd love to know what you think about that. But anyway, I've been thinking about doing this video, but I know I did one for a Chindian partnership, which I hope to promote. I don't know if that's going to work, obviously, unfortunately, but and I know I did, what was the other one? Oh, Malaysia, India, Indonesia, and Singapore, and nations like that. But I was thinking of a Pan-Asian one, as I've talked before about, but I don't want to repeat too many of the points. But anywho, I'm going to go for it a bit earlier than planned. I was thinking of doing it next week, either on the 24th or the 26th, because of my patterns and all that. But anyway, I'm going to try and cover it earlier, because I'm hoping some people out there will see it from Asia and will think it's a good idea, and there's as many people as possible, and they'll promote the idea so that they'll put pressure on Asian governments and politicians and whatnot, or vice versa, and so therefore look at how to make more peace between them. But here goes. Anyway, number one is to try and bring Asian nations together so they don't go to war with each other. Obviously, I want to get this started up, off the ground, get up and running, which is the first goal. I know I do things in patterns, and talk about patterns and all that. So first would be obviously getting up and running. But yeah, I hope that we somehow end the divisions. People who support Asia and want to see a united Asia, a peaceful Asia, a successful Asia, which hopefully will benefit, especially people from Asia, but around the world as well. A more peaceful place, lower energy costs, and hopefully just generally, obviously, living in peace is obviously better than the alternative. So unfortunately, I think there are people who make money from war, so that's probably why a lot of the reasons why war exists. But anyway, hopefully, a positive can come from it, and they'll come together. So yeah, hopefully, obviously, get it started up and running off the ground, and hopefully things will work out. So point number one, obviously get started and hopefully bring people together, as many people from Asian backgrounds around the world together to support these projects. Number two, as ever, I'd love to know what you think about these ideas, and try and always do encourage people to learn about Asia, support Asian projects like Asian cuisine, food products projects and all that. And I'd love to support all parts of Asia and bring them together. So again, to end these conflicts, and maybe they could be like, maybe the Asian Union or something like that should be, or some organization like that should come together and talk about how to peacefully discuss who should have what land, and when there's disputed territory, they should discuss each other's claim to that territory and how long that claim goes back, and why they should have that claim to that land, and which claim is the most valid argument. And I think that should make a lot more peace in the world, because if they put forward their case, then it's very hard to argue. Obviously, then an independent body can say, well, you have the right to this land because you paid for it, or you paid for it, you were there first, or whatever it is. that gives you the right to that land, and therefore hopefully that will make a lot more peace. And also like Asian nations touring each other and learning from each other and things like that. Number three, again, I'd love to have an open exchange of ideas where I could hear what people think about how to make peace between different Asian nations, how to bring them together, how to help them to market and sell each other products and trade with each other and use trade to cut back on wars. Because let's say in India could say, okay, if you go to war with us or you fight us or you kill some of our soldiers, we're going to boycott your goods. Then hopefully that will mean, okay, if we want to sell our goods to India or wherever else, we have to ensure that we treat you better and all that kind of stuff. So, and again, that can go for other parts of Asia. I mean, I'm not sure how China, Korea, North and South Korea could make peace between each other. I'm not sure how that would work, but I hope to have an open exchange of ideas where people can come up with something which will help Asian nations to come together. Number four, I hope to encourage as many people around the world of Asian background within Asia itself and also around the world to talk about how to bring Asian nations together, possibly in spite of differences, and how they can help each other's economies grow. So if you spend less on war and more on development, then hopefully the economy will grow much better than if you spend it on war. So hopefully that can encourage as many governments as possible to come together, and I hope people from the diaspora will help to make peace as well. And then also as many people from Asia, as I say, as possible to talk to the governments about how to bring Asian nations together and help them to have negotiations and peace between each other, and negotiations between each other about trade and things like that, but also looking at how to make peace and stop conflict and again have peaceful resolutions to land disputes or things like that, which are a lot of what these wars, I suppose, are probably about. I'm not sure if a threat of a boycott could work just to make peace. I know that, I mean, it feels a bit, I won't really want to do a boycott, but if that's going to make it peaceful and benefit the countries in the longer term, then I think that might be something that will shorten the wars and bring peace and all that, which I think would be much better in the longer term. And China talks about wanting to get rid of poverty in China. So surely by spending less money on wars, they can spend more money on building peace, or making peace and building bridges between each other. And I know I'm talking a lot about China and India, but I really want this partnership to be as much of Asia as possible. North Korea, South Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and looking at how the West or Britain or other nations, possibly America, divided Asian nations. I hope they'll use that to say, instead, we should make peace between each other. Number five, I hope, again, Asian nations will meet up together and discuss their plans for the future and GDP growth and how they can help each other instead of going against each other, instead of hurting each other or harming each other, they can heal each other and help each other and things like that. And discuss aspirations and goals and all that sort of thing. Number six, I hope that if a few people from Asia join this network to build a Pan-Asian network, more will join and hopefully put pressure, as I say, on politicians, businesses, governments, and so forth. And different businesses in China and India can talk to their governments about why they should work together more instead of against each other. And again, the rest of Asia as well, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, and look at what they have in common, like how they were colonized, how they lost their rights and stuff like that. So, and how they were divided and how other nations divided them to make them weaker. So hopefully that will make them say, well, if other nations divide us to make us weaker, maybe we should unite to be stronger. So again, I'd love to know what you think about these sorts of ideas. Number seven, I hope that God will bless Asia in spite of its sins. Number eight, again, I hope for Asian nations to talk about what they love about each other, not rather than what they hate about each other, and turn some of these negative situations into positives. Number nine, it's one of my priorities, I suppose, especially from April, May, and June when I talk about Asia, to try and August, as much of August as possible as well, especially August, which is my birth month actually, and also in August, I think it's August the 15th is India's Independence Day, so I really hope to benefit as much of Asia as possible, especially India in August as well. But yeah, it's one of my priorities to try and help Asia to be as united as possible. So So I certainly hope to speak properly, but I also certainly hope to try and work towards that goal. And number 10, especially like young people learning about each other's nations, possibly touring each other's nations, reading about each other's nations and what they contribute to the world and things like that. How I think that by working together, Asia can do much better than if they work apart. So hopefully as many Asians as possible will watch this video and share it with each other and talk about how best to unite and share ideas. Thanks for watching. Peace and love.